Boris Johnson likes to say that the United Kingdom is the Saudi Arabia of wind, of offshore wind, I should say. The strategy doesn't have that much to say about new onshore wind, but it looks like we will be building more offshore wind. Certainly, it's much of a cheaper technology than it used to be. It does provide good energy, but it's intermittent. And so the big problem there is, how do you have the baseload power? How do you either have storage or make sure that you can have a free flow of energy when the wind isn't blowing? And while we won't have new nuclear for some time, how do we fill that gap?
Well, I think you fill the gap with gas. You go back to recognizing that fossil fuels are part of a transition plan. And the capacity factor issue with renewable energy, which operates around 30 to 35%, which means 65% of that capacity is unused. And so recognizing that going to 50 gigawatts of wind really doesn't mean you get 50 gigawatts of baseload. It's just the opposite. But with nuclear power, for every gigawatt you build, that is an actual gigawatt of always-on emissions-free power. And then on top of that, it's the kind of electricity that new industries are looking for, because it's not intermittent. Big data industries, oil refineries, hydrogen production, they like clean power. Anything that you do these days better say green, but it better be baseload power to produce that kind of application. So I think we are continuing to overcommit to renewable energy, recognizing that that is the source of much of your problems today. If you go back to 2020 and you look at some of the energy shortages you had, it was really driven by the fact that the wind wasn't blowing sufficiently. Sometimes the wind blows too much. So I think you have to balance the renewables with the baseload, and nuclear is your baseload balance.